Hello everyone! Today I have a huge update on the AutoController program, and finally the program a lot of people have been asking for, the Auto Egg Hatching program. Introducing the AutoControllerHelper. This is a program that provides an interface so users don't have to manually edit the program parameters. The program will also compile the AutoController program for you so you don't have to use CMD anymore. You'll still need to install WinAVR before this though. If you're new here, please watch this video. Link will be in the description below. This will tell you what hardware and software you need to buy or download. You only have to watch the following timestamps. Others are outdated due to the introduction of the AutoControllerHelper. However, this is for Windows only. So unfortunately, if you're using Linux or Mac, you still need to edit the code and compile it manually. You can find the instruction on how to do this in the manual PDF I also provided, in the compiling code without AutoControllerHelper section. In fact, the manual contains a lot of information that I suggest everyone should read it before using my programs. It contains detailed instruction with pictures on all the programs available. If you need to edit the code manually, it also tells you all the variables in the config.h file and what you should change them to. Back to the AutoControllerHelper. When you first download it, I suggest you to create a shortcut of the AutoControllerHelper.exe from the AutoControllerHelper folder at the root folder. This is not mandatory, but you should avoid changing anything inside the two subfolders unless you absolutely have to. Here's a general layout of the program. AutoController Video Tutorial Playlist contains a playlist of previous AutoController videos and individual tutorials for each program available, which will come out later after this video. In the meantime, you should be able to read the manual to know how to use the programs. You can choose what program you want to use in the program Dropbox. Open source code will open the folder that contains the code of the current selected program, and you can edit them manually here. MCU types contains a Dropbox of available MCUs. If you follow my initial tutorial, you should have gotten one of the boards listed in the Dropbox. Settings change based on the current program. If you're unsure what the setting does, please check the menu. The information box tells you the estimated time the program will take, error messages, or any additional information user needs to know. The quick instruction box is a simple list of steps you need to do before you start the program. If you need more details or a picture for guidance, again, please check the manual by clicking the Open Manual button or check the playlist video tutorials. After you change the settings you want, press the Save and Generate Hex file. This will generate a hex file in the root folder, and you can use Tinsy Loader or Flip to load into your board. If there was an error, you can check the compile log and see what the error was. Last but not least, at the bottom you can find a PayPal Me link. You absolutely do not have to do this, but if you wish to support what I've been doing, you can use the link over there. One main change I've made for all past programs is I have removed the need to go to the change script order to start the program. The reason behind this is to disconnect the current controller you are playing with. So now you have to disconnect it by yourself. It's very simple. If you're using Joy-Con or Pro Controller, simply press the sync button and it will disconnect the controller. Make sure to press the sync button for both Joy-Cons if you're using split Joy-Cons. If the program doesn't start, it is probably because you forgot to disconnect the current controller. There are tons of changes for all the programs because the memory limitation problem I mentioned before has been solved. The date skipper US, European, Japan is now combined into one program. You just need to select the date arrangement you currently have. But I still recommend you to change the language to Japanese because it is still the fastest. Program that skips days like Auto 3-Day Skipper, AutoHost, AutoLotto, Berry Farmer, Watt Farmer will not require to set your current system date to a specific range of days anymore. All you have to do again is to select the date arrangement you currently have. The program now makes use of sync and unsyncing the dates to skip frames faster, and it will use years to skip frames. So unless you're playing the game in 2058, those programs will always work. AutoHost can now do much more stuff than before. First, you can change your internet connection time in the settings. You are recommended to use Ethernet for more stable connection, because Wi-Fi can be unstable and varies in connection time, so change this if you have to. Next, I've added the option to skip 3 days if you wish to roll a random Pokemon on the 4th day. You will need to make sure your system day is unsynced and set the date arrangement to the one you are using. Use link code is the same as before. You can set a fixed link code or a random link code before hosting each raid, but for random link code, it will generate a pseudo-random sequence of link codes. As long as the board is not unplugged, you will get a random link code every time. But if you restart the program, it will start from the same first link code in the sequence again. So if you wish to change to a different random sequence, simply compile the code again. Next, you can change the wait time to 1 minute or to 2 minutes. This will start the raid at 2-minute mark or 1-minute mark respectively. Make sure to tell your client to be ready before the timer hits, otherwise the raid will fail. You now also have the option to add friends during inviting others. You will need to specify which profile you are adding friends. The profiles are on the top left of the home menu. From left to right is 1 to 10. This will go to the profile and spam A to receive friend requests. The last checkbox changes the way the program disconnected from the raid. If it is unchecked, the program will disconnect the raid by closing the game and restarting it. The client side may have a chance of their game freeze for 10 to 15 seconds, so do let them know this can happen. If the checkbox is checked, the program will use searching for local friends to disconnect from the server. This simulates using airplane mode to disconnect, but it will also work on dock mode. If you are using this, you must monitor your raid, because if no one joins the raid, it will soft lock the program. Please note that this checkbox will not be available if you choose to skip 3 days for a random Pokemon. If you wish to host the same random Pokemon of the 4th day, either skip 3 days manually or use Auto 3-day skipper to find the random Pokemon you want, then use the AutoHost program. Now we're on the new programs. Let's start with the friend delete add program first. This program deletes friends from your friend list. Optionally, you can add friends after deleting friends. Do keep in mind that because Switch's friend list layout is terrible, you will be deleting best friends as well, so use this at your own risk. Before you start the program, hover the cursor to the end of your friend list, then plug the board to the Switch. The program will start deleting friends at the bottom. After finished deleting, based on your settings, it will go to received friend requests and spam A forever to accept friend requests. Next, we have the box surprise trade program. This automatically do surprise trade with the Pokemon in your PC. This is useful to get a lot of Pokemon with different trainer IDs to farm Master Balls from Lotto. You can use Auto Lotto program for that. Set how many boxes you wish to trade. If you check the completed Pokédex checkbox, it will skip a few seconds after a trade for a new Dex entry. First, if you haven't already, you should set the text speed to fast. Then fly to any places that is not the wild area. This will help reducing lag. Avoid standing next to any NPC so you won't accidentally talk to them. Next, make sure all the trading boxes are right next to each other. Each box should not have any eggs or empty spaces, and you should make sure all the Pokemon can be given away, because the game will be saved after each trade and you cannot get them back. Now scroll to the leftmost box and exit back to the hub world. This will make sure the trade will start on that box. Connect to the internet with Wi-Com, compile the program, disconnect the current controller, and connect the board. The program will do surprise trade of your selected boxes from left to right, top to bottom. It will wait 30 seconds, then finish the trade. There are a few cases where the next trade will fail. Unable to find the current trade in 30 seconds, current trade contains a trade evolution, or if you have checked the completed Pokédex checkbox but received a new Dex entry. These conditions do not break the program, it will only skip a trade. However, if the current trade is the last Pokemon in a box, it will not be able to go to the next box and continue trading with the same box. To prevent that, the last trade has the wait time of 1 minute. But trade evolution will still break this, so it is recommended to monitor near the end of each box or trade only one box at a time. When the program finishes, it will stop at the home menu. Finally, we have the Egg Shiny Hunting program. This program is split into two parts, the EggCollector and EggHatcher. Both of these two programs are used in Root 5 Nursery, and they make use of the Rotom Bike's Turbo Boost, making them much more efficient compared to the switch-up Gain Enhancer. On top of that, all the programs are open source, and the Arduino boards are way cheaper, so please do yourself a favor. First, you will need to use the EggCollector to collect a lot of eggs. Set the target number of eggs in the settings. You will get approximately 80% of the target if you follow all the instructions, meaning you have two Pokemon with different trainer IDs in the nursery, most commonly a foreign Ditto and your own Pokemon. And you have defeated the Game Freak's Morimoto and collected the Overcharm. You can check where to find him in the description below. Both of these will increase the odds of getting an egg from the nursery. You can also set the number to 0 to collect eggs indefinitely, but use this at your own risks. Go to Options, set text speed to fast and set send to box to automatic. Next, you must have a full party without any eggs, and have plenty of spaces in your PC. Ideally, you should have empty boxes next to each other to keep eggs organized. So scroll to the leftmost empty box and exit. This will allow eggs to fill up the empty boxes in order. Make sure you have a fully upgraded Rotom Bike. If you don't have enough watts, use the Watt Farmer program, then talk to any watt traders in the wild area to upgrade your bike. Then fly to Route 5 Nursery and charge up Rotom Bike Turbo Boost. After that, cycle from the left side of the nursery worker and towards her until you get stuck. You should be facing northeast. Now you can start the program. Again, disconnect your current controller before doing so. The program will now turbo boost your bike to the right side and do a lap back to the nursery worker to collect eggs. Sometimes you may not be able to collect eggs, but this is completely normal. After it finishes the amount of laps, it will stop at the home menu. Now that you've collected a bunch of eggs, you can move on to the next step and use the EggHatcher program. Set the Pokemon you are going to hatch. This will automatically change the egg cycle group. Then set the number of columns of eggs to hatch. If you don't know the number, follow the following instruction first before setting this. So go to Options, set text speed to fast if you haven't already, and set give nicknames to don't give. Make sure you only have one Pokemon with Flame Body ability in your party. Leakwig, Cockerel, and Centiskorch can have this ability. Next, make sure you have the hatching Pokemon already registered in the Pokédex, especially for Pokemons like Munchlax, Badoo, baby Pokemons like that. If you have not done already, simply just take one egg out and hatch it manually. Again, you must have a fully upgraded Rotom Bike. You should already have that if you were using the EggCollector program. Fly to Route 5 Nursery and charge up the Rotom Bike Turbo Boost. Then from outside the nursery, cycle southwest until you hit the first NPC on the bridge, the girl NPC that talks about Team Yao Goons. Next, check your boxes. Make sure all columns of eggs are adjacent to each other. You might have to rearrange the eggs manually if you don't have full box of eggs. Each column must have 5 eggs with the exception of the last column, the rightmost column. If the column does not have 5 eggs, it will break the program, but since it is the last column, it does not matter. Now that you know how many columns of eggs you have, put the number in the settings of AutoControllerHelper and compile the program. Back to the game. Move the cursor to the leftmost column of eggs and change the cursor to multi-select mode by pressing Y. And finally, disconnect your current controller and plug the board to the switch. The program will pick up 5 eggs from a column in a box and start hatching them by using Turbo Boost and do a few big laps. Then it will do a number of small laps without using the Turbo Boost and hatch 5 eggs. After that, it will cycle back to the NPC. Then it will quickly put the hatched Pokemon in the same box. Grab the next column and repeat the process until all the columns have been hatched. Then the program will stop at the home menu. And that's all for this huge update. I hope you all enjoy and good luck on your egg hatching. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. I still have a few planned programs in the future, spoiler alert, farming bee peas. So subscribe, stay tuned, and I will see you next time. Peace.